Alright.
Welcome to my version of Summoner, you piglet summoning bastards. Back on our Chanter got nerfed heavily, so I'm not even using back on our subclass. I'm actually using Troubadour subclass, because it's much better for summoning, if you want to play like that. There are multiple ways how to build summoners. I mean, multiple classes can be summoners. Everything that's got something that they can summon is technically a summoner, right? You can build them like that. Still, Chanters are really nice at this because they have great amount of variety. And they have dragons to summon, which pretty much trumps everything else. I've been trying to create summoning based build for some time now, and I always had two issues. One, how to survive, because I'm constantly trying to cast things while being heavily focused on, and second thing, how to maximize damage from my summons. At first glance, damage from summons is not great, but when you combine some stuff like Killer's Froze Stiff invocation or the other one that cracks armor, then they can be really good. This whole build is based on self-preservation and summoning. We are not gonna do any damage. Actually, we are gonna do some damage. It's going to be minimal damage, but we are gonna survive and cast stuff in between summons. As for the build, I'm choosing Troubadour, not Beckoner. Troubadour gives us brisk recitation model ability, which we're gonna use, and that is the best way to get summons fast. Summons on their own don't last that long, at least not for what I want to do. That's why I have brisk recitation so that I can cast things in between, which would increase the damage that the enemies take from these summons. For race, I went with Moon Godlike, because of the Silver Tide, which heals us when we are hurt, bloodied and near death. The goal of this build is to preserve us while we are summoning things and paralyzing opponents, charming them, whatever. In order to do so, we need high might, so around 15-16 is good enough. Constitution can be at 10, or if you want you can lower it to 8, something like that. Dexterity is a stat that we don't need, so it can be put at 8 or 10, your choice. You can go lower if you want. Perception is next to might the most important thing. Perception needs to be maxed out. Intellect is also an important stat, so try to have that as high as possible. Resolve can be dumped slightly, but don't go overboard, since we are mostly in melee range. For active skills, I suggest Alchemy, because with it you can buff your stats to look something like this. Might at 28 is absolutely insane, especially for healing done. But it's up to you ultimately. You can go also maxed out athletics so that you can second wind yourself to full health. From Chanter abilities, this is what you need. Killer's Froze Stiff to paralyze everyone. When enemies are paralyzed, 25% of incoming hits is converted to crits, which will help our summons do more damage. This is why I want our summons to last for a longer period of time, and this is why we use brisk recitation model ability. When we summon any summon that we want, and then in between we have one chance to paralyze opponents, and then you put those summons on paralyzed opponents to have increased hit to crit conversion rate. That's how you maximize DPS with your summons. Another option is to go for this, which reduces armor rating of foes in a cone. Both of these are fine abilities that should be upgraded. Thing is, in between summoning recasts, you'll have one chance to cast a spell. That's going to be either this or this. It depends on the situation. If you are in trouble, you will obviously cast this so that you can paralyze opponents and slow things down. If you're not in trouble, then you can always cast this. It's up to you though. You can all the time cast this if you want. It's still a good choice. This is also a cool one to have, because you can charm opponents with this cone AoE attack. Not for a long time, but it's going to be more than enough. As for the summons, you're gonna constantly retrain this character. First you're gonna use something like this when you summon a phantom, or skeletons, up to you. Then you're gonna switch to ogres. Ogres are a nice choice. They have one good ability that does decent amount of damage. Upgrade if you can. And for the last one you're gonna use dragon. Dragon is really powerful if you use it correctly. It might seem at the beginning that dragon is not as good, but it really is good. Which I'm going to show you why. Drake is the one that is weak, in my opinion. I've tried Drake against high level enemies and it was shite. Ogres were far more efficient than Drake. Still, when you get to dragon you should always use dragon. As for the phrases, you have a couple of options here. This one is good. This 2 health with this setup will go up to 4 or 5 health restored per 3 seconds. This one is also fantastic. We are gonna use only one phrase at a time. That's gonna repeat itself over and over again, because with brisk recitation model ability activated, these things will not linger. If you're really safe in a combat, then you can cast this. This will weaken everyone around you and reduce their might. Very useful. This is only used if you're safe on your own. Increased healing done is also a nice one, but you're gonna have to choose. You either want this one or this one. Or maybe even this one. All three are fine choices. As for the rest of the abilities, try to go for combat focus, uncanny luck, not because hit to crit, but mostly because you can avoid an attack with it, rapid casting, quick summoning, and prestige. This one is also nice for the last level, but you're gonna have to substitute something else with this then. I'm not using this skeleton summon because they will be resummoned every 3 seconds, so I don't see a point in it. You're gonna have plenty of points to spend, so try to get some defensive buffs as well, like Bear's Fortitude, Bull's Will, and so on. Gear section is a little bit more complicated than usual. We need to focus everything we have on getting regen items. So this is what I did. There are probably some better items that you can use. I don't know any of them at the moment, so if you can post in comments some items that would be fantastic for this build. Either way, I've chosen as primary weapon Blunderbuss because it can do decent amount of damage from one shot. Especially these unique ones. They're really cool. For shield, use small one, so that we don't get accuracy debuff. I'm using patinated plate as my armor, because we don't need low recovery time, it's not that relevant for this build, and it also can be upgraded to constant rebound or the other one rebound. Both of them give you some chance to stun attacker for a couple of seconds when they hit you. This is fantastic defensive thing. There's another good choice for an armor and it's called Flesh Mender. It gives you 5 health restored per 12 seconds. I don't know if this is an upgrade or you get it automatically. Either way, it's a nice choice if you don't want to have heavy armor. Maybe there are some better solutions here, do post in comments if there are. As for the rest of the items, I went with everything that would increase healing done. And also that would give me regen. For example, 3 Trolls Stitched Cape, you can buy it in Periki's Overlook if I'm not mistaken. Ring of Greater Regeneration is a must. If you can have 2 of them, excellent. I don't know if they stack together, but if they do, it would be a really powerful thing. For hands, I've used something that would increase might so that we can heal up more. And this belt would be a must. This belt can be obtained, if I recall correctly, from Torkar, that guy on Dunaj Island. He's part of a bounty quest. That's the same guy where I was testing my early builds on. He's only there if you received bounty for him. When you defeat him, he's gonna give you this belt. This belt grants you Reforge the Flesh. When you get to low health, you will become paralyzed and get health restored per 1 second. The more might and healing done items you have, more health you're gonna restore per 1 second. So when you hit that lower limit, you will probably heal up to full health with Reforge the Flesh. Be warned though, because this ability can only be activated once per rest. For drugs, use either Ripple Sponge to get Perception, Resolve and Intellect boost. Intellect and Perception are highly important here. Or Taru Turu Chu to increase your survivability a lot. Might will increase your healing, and Constitution will increase your health pool. Next to all of that, don't forget we are Moon Godlike, so we are healing through passive of the Moon Godlike race. My chants look like this. I have 3 defensive ones, her Courage, Healing Done increase, and this typical one that heals us and does raw damage around us. All 3 are fine. And this is an offensive one that weakens targets around us and decreases their might. At the beginning of the battle I'm pretty safe, so I don't need to start with Healing Done or with this. I either start with this if I feel like everyone's gonna rush me immediately, or if I feel I'm going to be safe, then I start off with this one so that I can debuff everyone around me so that my summons can kill them faster. When I start receiving a lot of damage, then I would suggest switching to this first, and then when you start dropping low, then switching to either this or this, because when you hit low health limit, that's when Reforge the Flesh activates, and when you're in the Reforge the Flesh mode, you're still gonna heal up. Both of these two will be active while you're in the Reforge the Flesh mode, so that you can increase the heal while in that mode. Now for the combat demonstration part. I'm gonna give you the same fight with Dragon Summon and then with Ogre Summons. At the beginning of the battle you need to choose your chants. That depends on your situation. If you're playing in a smaller group, then something defensive like would be recommended. That means either healing or that shield. If you're playing in a full group, then you don't need that. You're gonna survive easily with no issues because you are a tanky bastard with this setup. So you can immediately go for that chant that weakens everyone around you. Summon the dragon at the beginning of the battle and don't forget to turn on brisk recitation modal ability. When the dragon has been summoned, you're gonna continue reciting phrases over and over again, getting your points up. When you get to 5 points, you can put on your enemies Killer's Throw Stiff, which would paralyze them, or you can charm them, or you can put down Crack the Shield spell. Your choice. Cool thing is, when you use that Killer's Throw Stiff or Crack the Shield or whatever else you want, enemies will receive more damage. I mean, when they're paralyzed, they have more hit to crit conversion rate. So both of those are fine choices. Now focus the dragon on these enemies. Use exclusively skills available. If you're going for a single target, use knockdown. If you're going for AoE, then either breathe fire or that tail strike. Tail strike is extremely powerful. It's better than breathe fire, but it's crush damage type, so some opponents might be completely immune to it. Same goes for fire attack. Choose your poison here. Dragon will clear out everyone in couple of summons. You will probably not clear one group by only summoning dragon once, but that's not a problem, because with brisk recitation setup is like this. You summon the dragon, in between you cast something, anything of those spells that I've told you, and then by the end of the dragon summon you're still gonna have some points. So you're gonna be already prepared to resummon the dragon. That's why brisk recitation is an important thing here. Same thing goes with ogres. You summon them at the beginning of the battle, and in between you can cast a couple of spells because they last longer than dragons, at least I believe so. Or maybe it's the same amount of time, I forgot. Still, you're gonna have a chance to cast one spell between resummoning. Upgraded ogres have really nice sweeping attack, the third one, that immobilizes enemies. They also have the first one that has some kind of a vulnerable thing that they do, but I'm not sure how that works. It's strange, when you hit an opponent, then you should have on yourself a buff that increases damage done to paralyzed targets by 75%, but it's such a short time that they cannot benefit from it. They have high recovery as is, so I don't really understand the point of that thing, or maybe I've missed it completely. Either way, what I do is I spam the third one, and that's all there is to it. These summons are highly effective if you constantly use their skills. If you don't use their skills, then they're not gonna be effective. Their auto attacks are crap for every summon. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the game you won't have these upgraded summons and you will only have skeletons and phantoms. I believe both of them do not have some special ability that they can use, but they will be there just to annoy enemies and do some damage. In between casting and resummoning, you are doing minimal amount of damage with blunderbusses. Not to mention that you're constantly healing. That healing might seem really low, but when you combine every type of regen item that you have, then it becomes quite good, especially with high might. And if you're using chants that restore health or increase healing done. That would be all for this build. I hope you enjoyed it. I must admit it's not the most fun thing to play, being a summoner, but if you want to have a dragon, you can. This is how you make it effective, and this is how you survive and tank in the party where you don't have a tank. Thank you all for watching, and see you soon.
Let's go. I'm on it.